This is a short program about the life of Maggie Lena Walker, the first woman bank president and a great American businesswoman. This story of her life is told from the point of view of Mrs. Walker. It tells of a life that began in hard times but grew to greatness through education and self-determination. Let's watch and listen as Mrs. Walker speaks to a group of school children.
I came to talk especially to you children because I was once a child myself, and I do love children. I was born Maggie Lena Mitchell, July 15, 1867 in Richmond, Virginia. I was born right after the Great War, the Civil War, and I was born as a free person and not a slave. Times were bad in Richmond and most other places in the South, especially for black people. Many who came to the city looking for work couldn't find it and ended up starving or dying of disease. As a young girl, I went to the old Lancaster School in Chaco Valley, where I learned to read and write and do arithmetic. School and learning was sometimes difficult, but it was very important. People said that reading and writing is like riding the wind. You can go anywhere. My father was killed when I was 9 years old. We never found out who did it. But after that, it was my mother, my brother Johnny, and me. I spent a lot of time helping my mother and taking care of Johnny. To keep food on the table, my mother had to earn money by washing and ironing clothes for white people around town. I helped her carry water and keep fires under the wash pots burning. When Mother finished ironing and folding the clothes, I would carry them to the people's houses. On the way back from dropping off the clean clothes, my brother Johnny and I would see all the sights around town. I grew up in College Alley off Broad Street and romped over the entire neighborhood in my happy childhood days. Broad Street was always busy, with people coming and going to the stores and banks. As a child, I loved to be outside playing. I remember one Sunday I was playing near the First African Baptist Church, and a teacher came up to me and invited me to Sunday school. So I went, and it was the first time I had ever been to church, even though it was 2 blocks from my house. Looking back, this was one of the most important things to happen in my young life. The First African Baptist Church introduced me to black people who were working and praying together to uplift our community. When I was 14 and still in school, I joined the local council of the Independent Order of St. Luke. The order was started to help people who were so poor they did not have money to provide a proper burial for their loved ones. The Order of St. Luke was a way black people could band together in unity for self-help. The order was named for St. Luke in the Bible because St. Luke always went about helping the poor and needy. It was a benevolent organization. Benevolent is a word which means charity or giving help to those who need it. In this case, it was self-help because we needed it. The local council or organization, as it is sometimes called, was named the Good Idea Council. It was named that because it was a good idea to help people. And we came up with good ideas to do our work. The Good Idea Council had many achievements, like helping people when they were sick. At 16, I graduated from high school. Because I worked hard with the Independent Order of St. Luke, I was elected secretary for the local organization. My education in school was very important because I could read and write and help take care of the council's business. After I graduated from high school, I became a teacher. My education allowed me to do 2 things I loved. One was doing work for the Independent Order of St. Luke. The other was teaching children. I could teach children to read and write. I could teach them to ride the wind anywhere. And while I taught in the day, I took classes at night to learn how to run a business. Because with the knowledge of business, I could make St. Luke's the strongest and most successful benevolent organization. After teaching grade school for 3 years, I married Armstead Walker. I was so anxious for a baby to love, to follow by day and by night, to see develop into a great and useful person. So we started a family. We had 3 sons. One died as a baby. The other 2 were Russell, the oldest, and Melvin. As my children grew up, I was able to spend more time working for the Order of St. Luke. I felt a strong commitment, a strong wanting to help the cause of black unity and self-help, which was the work of the Independent Order of St. Luke. Because of the work I was doing at the Order of St. Luke, I was elected as leader of the organization. My title was the Right Worthy Grand Secretary Treasurer. This was a great honor for me, but also a real challenge, as the order was nearly broke and losing members. Over the years as the leader, I, along with my fellow workers, turned the organization around, and it grew to over 100,000 members. We started a newspaper, the St. Luke Herald, and I was the editor. This newspaper gave us a voice, a trumpet to sound the orders to the people in our community and in other places. As I've told you before, reading and writing is like riding the wind. You can go anywhere. By being able to read and write, we could use our newspaper to go anywhere, to people who wanted to know about and be part of our work. In 1903, 1 year after we started the St. Luke Herald newspaper, I saw the need for a bank where black people could save money and turn their nickels into dollars. We decided to name it the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank. I was the president, the first woman bank president in America. Oh, it was a great day when the bank opened. The choirs sang, and there was a band with music, and great speeches about how the black community could join together to do great things in business. Many people said we were crazy. The bank would never succeed. Instead, we put our money together and made it work. A few years after the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank opened, the women of St. Luke started another business. We opened the St. Luke Emporium on Broad Street, side by side with all the big businesses in Richmond. The Emporium had clothes, playthings, work tools, food, cloth for sewing, and all types of goods. All of these good things, the newspaper, the bank, the Emporium, were possible because we put our hands, brains, and might together and made jobs for ourselves, which were important for success. These were indeed great achievements, but sadly, I had great difficulties too. One of the worst things to happen in my personal life was when my oldest son, Russell, accidentally shot and killed his father, whom he mistook as a robber in our house. Lord, this was hard. And what made it worse was people who were jealous of me and my family tried to say it wasn't an accident. The court ruled that my husband, Armstead's death was accidental. Through the grace of God, I overcame this obstacle and found the strength to carry on. As the years passed, I became ill and paralyzed, and finally had to use a wheelchair. But I continued with the cause of black unity and self-determination. I served on the board of directors of the NAACP and the Urban League in Virginia, and supported schools for young black women. Because of my work, I received many honors. The opportunity for doing good is found in the home, in the church, and in the world. There is no reason why any man, woman, or child should stand by idly waiting with folded arms, saying there is nothing else I can do. With education and determination, you can do anything. Now I want to share something very important with you, and that is unite heart, head, and hand. Be strong and work. Stand firm by right and justice. Have faith, have hope, have courage, and carry on.
Maggie Lena Walker died on December 15, 1934. She was 67 years old. She left behind a great legacy of determination, black unity, self-help, and success. In 1978, her home became a National Historic Site administered by the National Park Service. It stands today as a place of inspiration for all.